All right, let's do it live on Overreaction Monday at Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. The great Z is to my left. The Hofstradamus is to my right.
Yeah, baby.
Fresh off the boat from across the pond.
Hoff, I got to know, how many do we have shirts in this collection? Because
these are lovely.
I wear mine now. One day I came in one of the ones that I got from Turkey Camp, and he's like, that looks like a Hoff shirt. I'm like, you're darn right it is.
Yeah, I can spot the Hoff
I don't
shirt.
have embossed yet. We're going to move. We're working our way up there.
Those are Papa Bishop. He would love all about that. Pearl snaps on
the poncho.
He always needs to have the pockets here with the snaps. He's big on that. So that would check every box off.
Yeah, I think I've got 7 or 8 of these, all poncho, high quality.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, when you're farming, you're out and about, you're making little notes. You got little things that you don't want to put in your pocket because they're hard to get in your pocket when you're in the tractor, skid loader, or whatever. It's nice to have these pockets up here.
Baby.
And this is the shirt. This is the one you want.
That's a beautiful burgundy hue.
It really is. It really is.
Dude, I'll just be honest.
We'll get into all the fun in a second.
I'm not happy, man.
Nobody is. Do we want to start with any glasses half full, or are we glass half empty across the board?
No, we could do plenty of glass.
Okay, let's start what this was about. And if you go back to what the beginning of, you think about this summer, you think about everything since the draft, the big objective that you and I have talked about has been we have got to figure out if either of the rookie quarterbacks can be the answer long term.
100%.
And at the time, also, or Kenny Pickett. One of the young guys,
100%.
Are any of those 3 guys the answer at quarterback, so that next year, do we have to take a quarterback or not? Or is that something that maybe we can apply those assets in the draft differently? This was Dylan Gabriel's first start. I did not think for a second that the stage was too big. He did not in any way appear to be wide-eyed or surprised by anything that he saw. Are there things that he would want back? I'm sure. But as debuts go, pretty good out of him.
Yeah, 19 to 33, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, rating of 94.3. Yeah, it was a good debut for the most part. But this is a league that is based on what I like to call situational football, but in particular, money downs and money situations. And the Browns, unfortunately, in this game, and some of it falls on the quarterback, some of it falls on play calling, some of it just falls on drops, some of it falls on execution. You could go through the like, but you have to be good on third down. That is, and that to me, it's not fully a quarterback stat, but it's kind of a quarterback stat, and this has been an issue for this Cleveland Browns team now all season long, regardless of who the quarterback is, but you were 3 of 15 on third downs in this game. And then the other one is when you've got to get it done, right? When you have got to produce, and you look at the Browns' possessions that begin with 56 seconds left to go in the third quarter, 3 plays, 9 yards, punt, 3 plays, 4 yards, punt, 5 plays, 17 yards. You did get 1 first down there, punt, 3 plays, and now this one was the crusher, 3 plays, -1 yards, punt. You produced 1 fourth down on your final 4 possessions of the game before the hurry-up. You did get a first down there, but I'm talking about in those situations where you had opportunities, I thought, to put this game away. And
is there to be one.
Defensively, were you good? Yeah, for the majority of the game, you were good. 3 sacks, 2 takeaways. The thing that's hard for me in this one is we said, man, we just got to play clean football. We got to run the ball. We got to play good defense. Special teams got to be at least neutral. And yes, they had the one punt that completely flipped the field. I still think Rex Sunahara touched that ball down in play, and then his foot slid onto it. I thought once you touch it, it's dead.
It's dead.
So it should be dead.
Me too.
I would have liked to see a challenge on that. Maybe they said you can't challenge it. I don't know. But I thought special teams were at least somewhat neutral. And you didn't win. And I think that's the thing. We said, okay, you threw by the way, no quarterback had thrown 2 touchdowns against the Minnesota Vikings this year.
Yeah.
On the season.
Yeah.
The Vikings had a takeaway in 20 of their last 21 games. No giveaways. We cleaned that up. You throw 2 touchdowns on them. You feel good about that. It just was a game that ultimately, they made more plays than you did. And that was that. I mean, the Browns actually in special teams were, according to, EPA per play, totally neutral. We were a little bit under them on offense and a little bit under them on defense, despite the fact that we had those big takeaways.
To me, the disappointing thing was the amount of penalties that we had in that game, because you know that if you're a team that's built with a great defense and a young quarterback and a running game, what you have to be is great on special teams, and you have to minimize self-inflicted wounds, and that's mainly penalties. They had 10 for 78 yards, including critical ones on the long touchdown run, 65-yarder by Quinshon Judkins, which could have changed the outcome of the game.
100%.
But then also in the second half, if you go into halftime, and I think they had 6 penalties or so going into halftime, and they realized that was what was really killing him and holding him back, there needs to be a new focus in the second half on, hey, guys, we're in the driver's seat right now. I know maybe some of the people on the outside didn't think we'd be sitting here leading or with a chance to win this thing with a rookie quarterback at his first start overseas in London. But we're sitting here right now. This is where we are. And so let's go snatch it. Let's seize the game, but let's not play not to lose. But we also have to minimize the penalties. And I thought the penalties, they reared their ugly heads again in the second half, and it really caused the loss, in my opinion, out of all the things you're looking at that you control the most of, that you feel like, hey, if this is who we are, this is what we need to hang our hat on.
Here's the problem, too. 5 of those, you said 10 penalties?
Yeah.
5 came from the left tackle. 1 came from the right tackle, so that's 6 of them on the offensive line. But 5 at the left tackle where you were rotating 2 guys. Cam Robinson, who we just traded for, had 2 penalties and 7 snaps. KT Leviston had a rough game out there, to say the least. Our offensive line, really, I thought Joel had a solid game. We still struggle with those just TE stunts, and in critical moments, like we're letting guys go unblocked. They're rushing 4 on 5, and we have unblocked guys.
Yeah.
The line play, I thought from a run block standpoint was pretty solid. I thought from a pass protection standpoint still was not great in this one. But you're right, those penalties, and to have 5 of them come from one position, it's crippling. It's crippling.
Yeah, it felt like in the, from my end, it felt like we were trying to massage the win in the fourth. Like we thought like set 14 would be enough, or 7. Like
it's not enough.
Well, of course not.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like to me. It felt like we were trying to massage a win. Let's 17-14. We'll put it on the defense. Let's get out of here. Victory, and away we go. We did not play the fourth quarter, in my view, fearlessly at all. It felt like everything was just, let's just try to get this over with. And except for when we were really needed to try to get it over with by making them either use 40 seconds or a timeout, and then we failed in that regard. So like that, there was some mismanagement there as well. But it was one of those games that like you felt like this is here, just go take it. And the fourth quarter we didn't.
So there are a couple plays I think in particular where it was there. So remember when we got a little bit lucky, and I don't know, you guys have seen the replay, but I just remember watching the field goal kick by Reichert and being like, the ball just went weird, and he kicks it off the cable, and I think there's enough, I think, on the video. The ball goes from going end over end to sideways, so it hit something.
Yeah.
And it appeared to hit that cable, so you got a little bit of a break there. But when they punt it down, and to me, that's one where you got a young guy back there, Gage Larvadan. He wasn't a punt returner in college.
Yeah.
This is something he did in the preseason. He was over on kind of one side of the field. The punt's over on the other, so he doesn't get to field it. It ends up trickling all the way down to the 1-yard line. That's hidden yardage, and that stuff always, as you know, adds up. But we have a chance. We come out of there, first down 1 yard, second down, great run by Quinshon for 8 yards. Now it's 3rd and 1. And on this 3rd and 1, we went back to, with the exact same look and the exact same play that we'd used earlier in the game on 4th down on the opening touchdown drive where we end up converting to Fannin on the 1-yard touchdown pass, the first one of the game. The exact same play, and Jonathan Grenard, the first time, kind of played it neutral. He was on the backside. He was the only kind of in the scheme. The only way to get that play was to run it down from the backside. The first time he kind of played it neutral. Second time, he was like, this could be a big moment in the game. I mean, that's 2 minutes. A first down's 2 minutes at this point. Runs right down the line and blows it up. And we gave him the exact same look, no different window dressing. And one of the things that Kevin has done so well in the past is, you can run the same play, but you dress it up differently. Or you say, this time we're going to run the same play, but we're going to start the receiver on the right side and bring him in motion, a jet motion, so that at least the guy on the backside has to think about defending something out there. Can't get caught peeking in the cookie jar. If that's even a phrase, probably not.
I like it, though. We should
hand,
start it.
well,
That sounds
you got to
great.
peek in there probably before you put your hand in there.
Yeah. I mean, you never know if there's a snake in there.
And that way he's moving that way just to get in the way of Grenard. But, when you play excellent players, and Jonathan Grenard is an excellent player, back-to-back seasons of over 12 sacks, you give him the same thing twice, they're going to pick up on that. And he did. And that cost you. And then later, you go back. So that, to me, was a massive play. That's 2 minutes on the clock. And then I go back to our last drive, and this is really to the point that you have. On the radio broadcast, when we got to that point, I said, we've got to throw the ball on first or second down. And it doesn't have to be a big one. It just has to be, here, let's give a hard run action, leak fanning out, let him pick up 5 yards.
Yep.
All of a sudden, that changes everything that we can do now on the next couple of plays. But we came out, we ran it into a very heavy box, 2 plays in a row. They go timeout, timeout. And then I thought, again, I wanted to see a throw on first or second down. You got to play to win the game. We are not, unfortunately, not a great football team. And I know we have a lot of belief in our defense, and you say, okay, well, let's just make them use some timeouts. But then on third down, and I don't know if you agree with this, and everybody can disagree with it, I thought third down had to be a boot and say, look, if you can throw it for the first down, you throw it for the first down. If you cannot, you run and you slide. Even if you lose a couple yards, it really doesn't matter. We're near midfield. Corey Borges has plenty of leg to get it inside the 20, no matter really where this play ends. But we need to make them decide, are they letting 40 seconds come off the clock, or are they using their final timeout before they get the ball back? And we did none of those things, and it ended up being 3 plays in 11 seconds. They got to keep a timeout, which they didn't have to use because we ended up using 3 timeouts, and then we end up losing the game.
Yeah, the play you're talking about is your classic 4-minute offense play that you have on third down, where you're telling the quarterback, usually he's booting, usually you have like a fullback or a tight end in the flat, so we can quickly dump it off, gain a few yards if they're covering the deep throw. But then you also have an intermediate or a deeper corner type dig route where you have an opportunity to pick up the first down with a safe throw by the sideline. If none of those are available, quarterback just takes a sack. You're okay. You can punt on fourth down. I think going back to what you were talking about on that first and second down, there was a lot of things in there. I didn't take minutes.
Hold on. Go back to this. So let's go back.
Let's start wherever you want.
Yeah. Let's go back to the 3rd and 1 at our backed up in our area where we run the exact same play out of the exact same formation. Is that more typical than we think?
It can be. I think the thing that you'd have to watch the film to understand for sure is you only had one receiver on the left side, which is where the play got tracked down from. And so you have to have an eligible receiver on the line of scrimmage there. So if you were going to shift to it, you'd have to start somebody over there, and then you'd have to shift and then motion and still put somebody on the line of scrimmage. You couldn't bring that receiver over all the way across because you have to have that guy covered up on the backside. But I think
you could have started, could you have started Fannin on that side, motioned him into the backfield, then motioned the receiver?
You have to be covered up on
the
that
whole
side.
time.
Yeah, when it would have to be a shift to recover that guy up before you could motion. But I think what happened is the receiver just got too wide because he was comfortable. The play before where they ran that, he was in a good split from where the tackle was, and he was able to get that block on the back where the miss was on that play. But you could definitely do some window dressing if you wanted to not give the exact same look as you did previously.
Well, and then the other thought I had is we often see, and sometimes in some of those run situations where a quarterback sees, oh man, you're already out leverage, and they just do that kind of little motion which basically brings them to being right next to the tackle.
So what your option would be there, we're talking about now, experience of a quarterback, and as you have a vet guy, he sees that. What you could get to
that's
then
the only weakness
is your little bit of a boot concept, right? Where that receiver, he blocks down, and it's something you could audible to, where Dylan fakes the handoff, he boots out as the receiver's blocking down for 2 counts. Now he just rolls out and makes himself available in the flat, and then Dylan can either run for it or he can dump it off for an easy completion right there. There's going to be a linebacker who's got Dylan, but he's going to be running from inside out and a lot of times gets caught up running through the wash of his own guys there. So you do have another iteration of that. And if this wasn't Dylan's first start, if you have a veteran quarterback up there, that's one of the things on the checklist, we've talked about a lot on this show, that has to go through your mind in those situations. If I was a quarterback that had 11 years of experience or whatever, I'd be thinking, okay, who's the guy that can make the play here? Backside, does my receiver have leverage to be able to block him? No, I got to get out of this, or I got to give him a second, hold, and just scoot him down. Yeah, give him the hands scoot down.
Because we see that. We see that a lot.
But I guarantee rookie quarterback in his first game, he's probably not even looking over there. He's just hoping, got to get the snap. Don't screw up the handoff to Quinshon Judkins, or I think it was Judkins.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. When I watched it back, I honestly thought with the receiver split the way he was, and when Grenard hopped in, it was almost like we were baiting a trap. That
right,
was going to be like
I was
a
saying,
naked.
It was like we were talking about where, the receiver just fakes like he's blocking down and then peels out, and then you've got Dylan in the flat.
You got a 2-on-1.
Which I think is, I think it's a great option. It's a great opportunity. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was you were talking about in that last drive.
Yeah, last drive.
First and second down instead of just going run. I think that Kevin on that third down wanted to put Dylan in a situation to allow him to take an opportunity to be the hero, throw the ball down the field, take a little risk, force the ball in there potentially, and not just play conservative. But I would have liked to see that on first or second down, like you mentioned, to kind of keep the defense on their toes a little bit. Yeah, you don't get an opportunity necessarily for a guaranteed completion or to run the football in that situation, but I always like the coordinators who are not afraid to throw it a little bit on first and second down in those situations, because then the defense has to play you a bit more honest, and you've got much better opportunity then on the remaining couple downs to actually gain some yardage running the football if you want to.
How hard is it to run into like a 9-man box?
It's pretty hard
that can lead to, if you do, that can lead to a house call.
Yeah, there's just a lot of bodies in there, and typically there's one or two guys you can't get blocked. Just because of the nature of the amount of people and the wash and the way you're running into people. And if they got big bodies inside, those guys are trying to create a pile. They're trying to make sure that there are no gaps for you to run into on the inside. But, I mean, if we're going to be a team, like I said at the beginning, defense, run the ball, those are the situations where you need to have a core group of plays that you feel really good about, that you love, that Quinshon loves, the O-line loves, that you have multiple options off of the same formation, so that we know we can get 2 or 3 yards in this situation. We know we can move the ball a little bit here, and then we've got a couple nice play actions off of it, so you have a little bit of a menu. But I think some of that could have been also because this offense in the offseason was sort of designed for a Kenny Pickett movement-type quarterback. Kenny gets hurt, so then you pivot, and then you've got Joe Flacco at quarterback, and so you lose a lot of the mobility quarterback-type boots and move the pocket type plays, and you're trying to go back to it all of a sudden in 1 week going into London with a rookie quarterback. And so probably you don't have the full menu, and you don't really have those core group of plays that you know that you like in a lot of those situations.
We do I think the one thing you can take from all of this, we just don't have a margin for error.
Right.
No, we don't.
We can't have 10 penalties for 78 yards. We can't be misaligned on a same alignment running the same play twice. We don't have it.
No.
We don't have thank God, Quinshon Judkins.
He's a stud.
Because he is a stud.
Yeah.
And,
He's a stud.
and he should have had 190 yards rushing in this game and another touchdown. And he is going to be the engine. But the idea that of things that are scary offensively for the opposing defense, it's very limited, and it might just be limited to 10. I mean, Fannin and Chief have moments, certainly. Judy's had some moments, and maybe Bond turns into something. But right now, it's 10.
No, we cannot. Our receivers aren't there.
You can't have 10 for 78. You can't be misaligned. It's too critical. We have to play perfectly offensively to have success in the NFL.
Well, yes and no. I think we also have to be like, one thing it's easy for us to say here, oh, yeah, we should have just invited Dylan Gabriel to do a naked bootleg on 3rd and 1 from your own 9. That gets stopped, or is like, why didn't you give it to Quinshon Judkins, right? I mean, that's
the problem of being a coach in the NFL. Whatever you do, if it doesn't work, you are wrong, right?
It's totally outcome biased. But so I'm looking at the first down play when we get the ball back at the end, and we're talking about that possession. So just take me through because this is way beyond my knowledge base, but I think I have a fairly good idea. So on that first down play, they came out with 4 defensive tackles, 2 defensive ends. So there are 6 down linemen. They have 6 guys on the line. They have 2 linebackers that are 5 yards off the ball maybe, and a safety that's 5 yards off the ball. They have a corner on our receiver who is a solo receiver, which is Jerry Jeudy, and then they have a safety in the middle field. So that's 9 guys.
Hoff is walking over to take a look.
My vantage point from the sideline.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You're looking at almost a 6'2". Yeah.
So you have to throw, you can't run into that.
It's a challenging front to run into because you've got 7 blockers, and then you've got 8 with the fullback in the backfield. But they also have, you see the corner on the outside. He's peeking in, so he's a force player on the outside. You got another corner safety who's off the ball. So there's a lot of bodies in there, and that's a situation where you would love to be able to say, okay, Dylan, let's go on a double count, and then you've got 2 options, right? if you can see what they're doing after you go through the double count and you feel comfortable changing it to a pass, some type of man beater because you think they're probably in man coverage with all those guys up front, hey, let's get to that. But, he's in his very first start, and I'm sure they were just worried about trying to get the very basic game plan in that they had in there and try to give him as much as he could, but not overwhelm him with too many options at the line of scrimmage.
And I wonder if that's part of the challenge of playing this game in London is because we did not get a Thursday practice. We practiced on Wednesday. You lost Thursday. You got a walkthrough, but that's not quite the same. And then you had Friday. But you're exactly right. The margin for error is not there, and we have got to be better at taking advantage of that. Of the opportunities that present themselves. And, so far, unfortunately, we haven't done it. And Hoff, I'm watching right now. The second down play, now there are 9 guys even closer to the line of scrimmage.
They were daring you to throw the ball. They wanted Dylan to throw the ball in that situation.
And I think sometimes you have to say, okay, we're going to because you have created a situation where that is now leveraged to us.
Yeah.
The advantage it is our advantage in that situation. And I also understand the idea of being conservative. I think I would have wanted at least to use on the third play, at least get that 40 seconds or a timeout, force them one way or the other. But, look, you got the number 1 defense in the league. You're going against Carson Wentz. No offense to Carson Wentz, but you're going against Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
You got to keep them out of the end zone. And we did not do that. And so on some level, the defense is culpable. But the fact of the matter is we are now historically unproductive on offense. I mean, you have to go back a long time.
We don't score enough, and we have way too many penalties, and that's just who we are.
We scored
now.
more than 17 in 10 games. I think you have to go back to
it's Jameis other than Jameis last year, and then Joe.
But I'm even saying forget the last time without Jameis was Thursday night against the Jets.
Yeah,
which is the end of 2023.
Right.
This whole year, no, and even dating back to last year, no. So 10 straight, 17 or fewer, and I think. Somebody sent the stat. I was in those things. It's the 2 teams that have done it this long. You have to go back to one of them is 2001.
Yeah.
And this is a very different game. And sometimes to me it's crazy because you're watching around the league, as we did after the game. Most drives now start at the 35 or the 40.
Oh yeah.
And these guys can all make 55-yard field goals. So you really only need to get
couple first downs,
20 yards to have a chance for points.
Yeah.
And we can't do it.
Hoff, your impressions of Dylan in his debut?
So I think he exceeded expectations. I thought that
poised.
We expected him to be poised, but I think he was poised even beyond maybe what I anticipated. Just because he's a cool, calm character. He's got 63 college starts and he's got a ton of experience. But this is just such a bigger stage when you are playing in the NFL, and especially in the international game where all the eyes of the NFL as they're waking up, getting ready for their game, are watching you. And that. It doesn't take very long to be in the NFL to know that this is a big game that people are watching. And when the eyes are on you, you're knowing that people are going to be giving you an evaluation. They're going to look from the very first snap that you take through the entire game to figure out who is Dylan Gabriel and how is he as an NFL quarterback. And so with that stage set like that and that much pressure on him, I thought he did a really good job managing the game. I thought he didn't make any big mistakes. He did a great job putting the football where he needed to for the most part. And overall, he seemed like he was a veteran quarterback in those moments. Now, the area I would like to see him get better at, in the second half, he played not to lose. Mm-hmm. And part of that's because we do have this great defense. Yeah. And I think that's how we called the game a little bit in that second half. We said, hey, look, we're playing with the lead. We're doing things well. Our rookie quarterback's got us in this game. Just don't screw it up, right? Yep. And too often when you have that, that's when you screw it up.
Yeah.
Because your defense is also kind of thinking the same thing, like, we got this, put it on us. And then you're getting a different offense that's playing against you because now they don't have anything to lose. They don't care. Carson Wentz is already beat up. It's his last drive of the game. He doesn't care. He's going to hang in there. He's going to try to extend plays. He's going to take shots. And when they got Justin Jefferson, who's the best receiver in the game out there, he's going to take some shots at that guy. And it's hard to keep him down the entire game. It's hard to not allow him to touch the football on the final drive. And so I think you got to have that killer mentality. And that's one thing I think Dylan needs to continue to work on and find in those close games, in those situations down the stretch where he's not so risk averse, where he's willing to take some shots. Now, we need some more help from our receivers, but I think looking at Harold Fannin and David Njoku and kind of building around a little bit of the tight end game, some of those opportunities to push the ball, at least in the intermediate portion of the field, and then push it to Jerry Jeudy, hopefully, or Isaiah Bond, with just saying, hey, we need to take the top off the defense a little bit, and we just need to take a shot. We just have to take some shots because these defense, the coverage just keeps creeping down on us, and it makes everything so hard.
You don't have to complete it.
Well, think about it.
Just take a shot.
No.
Just throw it as far as you can, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me just give you guys a couple of numbers. But one of the reasons why it's so hard in the red zone is because the field is so compressed. Mm-hmm. That's why red zone offense is difficult. Well, prior to the final drive, which was we're just trying to get down, in Hail Mary, basically, we did not attempt a pass of more than 20 yards in the air. Just attempt. Mm-hmm. And I do think you have to throw those. You have to loosen up the coverage at some point. It doesn't matter if it's complete or not. They have to respect it. Prior to the final drive, we were 2 of 9 for 26 yards in the game on passes that went 10 yards in the air or more. And so you say, where can Dylan get better? Obviously, it's that. Here's the one thing. Here's great news. You want some glasses half full? Great news. Dylan Gabriel, when under pressure in this game, 7 of 11 for 72 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 122. Dylan Gabriel, when blitzed, 11 of 18 for 86 yards and a touchdown, quarterback rating of 91.4. When kept clean, Dylan Gabriel, 12 of 22, 118 yards, 5.4 yards per attempt, and a rating of 69.9. That's where, as a quarterback, you've got to excel. You've got to excel when everything actually is good. And now some of that's on your receivers to get open and create the separation, but we have got to be able to live, down the field. And just to give kind of like a contrast in this exact same game, Wentz in this game was 142 and a touchdown. Of his yards, 142 of them came on passes of more than 10 yards in the air. For us, it was basically 40 yards. If you take out the last drive, which I really think that's hard to take out, it was 16 yards. Yeah. It came on passes of more than 10 yards in the air. We've got to be more effective and at getting the football down the field. Our wide receivers are non-existent at this point. It was Fannin and it was Njoku, who had a very nice game. But to me, that's part of the problem. And there is something either schematically or with the quarterbacks and they're rushing their process that is not allowing us to get the football down the field. Because it's not what everybody's doing. I'm not Frank the Tank. But if you look around the league, there are a lot of people throwing the football down the field and doing it successfully.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons you make the switch from Flacco, because he's not pushing the ball down the field. So at what point do you wonder, are we not calling plays that can get these guys open down the field? Are our quarterbacks too risk averse because they're worried about making turnovers? Or are receivers just not getting open when we are calling the plays to try to push the ball down the field?
The one that I saw where we had a clear deep shot, they were either playing cover 3 or cover 1, but on the outside, basically same principles. And Bond had roasted his guy by like 5 yards, but pressure blew it up. But that was the only one where I really saw where there was a shot. Throw it down the field, and there was a touchdown in the offing.
Yeah. It's just tough sledding. You go about your business this way. You commit a bunch of penalties, everything underneath. It's such a difficult needle to thread to try to have success in the league when there's really nothing opposing defenses fear, and that makes it hard.
It makes it real hard, and here's the other thing. And I know, look, Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, I wouldn't say he's singularly great in the NFL, but he's in that cluster of 2, 3, the best in the business. There were a couple plays. There was one where they had a third down, and the second half where we were in we played cover 2. He was in the slot. So it's likely from there he's going to be the run the seam ball. And it was 3rd and long, and we let him be wide open on that, which I thought was insane. Like, I think if you're the safety on that side, the guy on the outside didn't run a vertical. You got to be like, okay, where's Justin?
Where's 18?
We can't just let him throw the ball down the middle of the field to 18. And they did that. It was I'm trying to see where it was to Justin Jefferson. Anyway, it was a big 3rd down one. I thought for the most part we did a pretty good job on him. Defensively, I thought we were going to do a lot more against the quarterback, to be honest with you, than we were able to do, given their offensive line issues. Still ended up with 3 sacks, but the pressure was not there at the level. And you go to that last drive, and the reason I brought up Jefferson is Justin Jefferson was the pass on the right sideline it was 21 yards. It was a 1st and 10 from Cleveland's 48. They just got a couple checkdowns to Hawkinson, and then they hit Jefferson for that big one that gets them down basically like just out to our 27, I want to say. Denzel's in perfect position. It was just a perfect throw, and Jefferson was able to make a catch with Denzel literally in
all
his
over him.
chest.
Yeah, right.
And that's when you have those guys. Like, we don't when's the last time we just threw it to somebody? Maybe the one he threw a corner route to Chief that was against cover 2.
That was beautiful.
That was
I think I said I thought that was one of those where the coach is like, no, because the corner was completely
right
underneath
there.
that. And if
Yeah.
you threw that any lower, we're going the other way. But then it was a no, yes. But, we don't have the guys that clearly our quarterbacks, at least right now, feel comfortable giving those opportunities to. And that's hard because that's what it takes in the NFL. They get that, and then all of a sudden, on 3rd down, when we had a chance to really stop them, I think it was 3rd and 4 at our 21. We took our second timeout. We're saying, okay, this is it. You stop them right here, hold them to a field goal. We still got a timeout to go get a field goal for us. And they caught us in man, and they did a great job. They brought a guy from all the way on the right in motion. Miles Harden was on him. And he had, to get around, had to bow out, and they just ran a speed out right underneath it. And there was no way for our coverage with that scheme that we were able to do it. Now, the other thing I want to give Kevin O'Connell a little bit of credit for, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, they did a great job, and so did the Lions last week. Now, Miles Harden has been up to the task, and he's played very well given the circumstances, but they did a really good job of doing late motions. So, like, they would have Jefferson at 1, they'd have somebody here at 2, and they would do a late motion where he just slides inside, and now this is 1, Jefferson's 2, to get him on Miles Harden. And they did it so quickly that you couldn't, that's how you have to play it.
Yeah.
And so they did a good job of doing that. But Miles Harden played very well. He's played very well the last 2 weeks. But it's those little things. And then at the end, you're in cover 2. You got to reroute the receiver. And Denzel said it. He knows it. It's a rare mistake by a great player. But it's just those things add up. And then all of a sudden, boom, you lose. And you're like, what
just happened?
What the heck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we didn't turn it over.
No.
And special teams was at least a neutral in this game. They missed a kick. We made our kick.
Yeah.
And you still lose. You win. You don't lose often in the NFL when you win the turnover battle by 2.
No. Usually that does it. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. You've heard what we've had to say about the loss yesterday in London. Head coach Kevin Stefanski up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. This season, check the Browns social channels daily to play our digital scratch-off game for your chance to win club seats and other great prizes presented by Ohio Lottery, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head to the podium now, presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Here is head coach Kevin Stefanski.
Okay, obviously
Get it done.
still feel the same way as I did after the game, frustrated, disappointed that we don't close that game out in the fourth quarter, obviously. So got to find a way in those moments to play complimentary ball, and that's on us to get it done, and that's what we'll focus on, and that's what we'll work very hard at doing, and making sure that we're all at our best in those moments. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Hey, Kevin, after watching the film, what were your takeaways about Dylan's first start?
Yeah, a lot of positives, Scott. Obviously can always be better, and certainly we as an offense have to be better and score more to help this football team. But for a young player in that environment versus that defense, to take care of the ball, make the plays he made, I thought was a lot of positives with plenty to clean up, and that's what he will do, and that's the mentality he has, is certainly to be a player that continues to get better week in and week out.
And when you look at that last Vikings drive, the winning touchdown drive, what were the issues defensively that you saw? What could you have done differently?
Yeah, obviously, give them credit, but we had a couple mistakes there, and guys played really, really, really well, and then kind of had one lapse there towards the end, and it cost us in that drive, which is disappointing. Our defense wants to be on the field in that moment, and I have no doubt that in the future we put them in that spot, they'll come through.
Hey, Kevin, I wanted to ask about that last drive too. So I know you got asked about this yesterday with the timeouts. The first one specifically, would you have liked to have had that timeout called earlier? It felt like there were maybe 10 or 15 seconds that went off the clock before you called that.
Yeah, obviously anything in those scenarios, Dan, I want to make sure I'm putting the team in a good spot. If there's things that we can improve, we will. Obviously, the mentality was try to keep some time on the other side of it, but we can definitely be better there.
And then just with Quinshon yesterday, obviously his best game since you've gotten him here. But can you just talk a little bit about how he played yesterday, and when he plays like that, what does that do for your offense?
Yeah, he's a tough out. He's kind of showing us and everybody the type of player he is. Have to remember that he and has continued to get better each and every game. He's a fiery competitor, and he had a bunch of plays there. Obviously had one called back for the holding, and I understand why that was called, but he continues to make hard yards when there's hard yards we made, and then when it's blocked clean, as it was a few times yesterday, you see that he does have the ability to go. So a young player, again, that will only get better each week.
All right, I actually have 7 questions. Hopefully some of them will be asked after my stint here. 2 quick ones for Kevin. Do you believe that the left tackle of the Vikings false started on that touchdown to win the game?
Honestly, it doesn't matter. I understand the question, Tony. I thought it live, but it doesn't matter.
Another question I have is, we've talked over the years of your head coaching job here, how you share input in game in hectic situations through the headphones. Do you believe you have too many voices in your ears in those hectic situations?
I don't, Tony. I don't. I'm very comfortable with the group we have in game.
Yeah, Kevin, I wanted to ask about your guys' second to last drive, the 3 and out. Just given the way the Vikings were stacking the box against you guys, watching that back, I guess, what did you think of how you guys handled that?
Yeah, obviously, Ashley, you get into 4-minute drives, and the goal there is to stay on the field, get first downs, make the clock roll, and finish the game with the ball. Obviously, going 3 and out doesn't get it done, and when you look at that as a coach, you always immediately, and also now, think about different things that you can do. There's a ton of philosophies there, and what you're trying to do, who you're trying to play through. If you want to have risk involved and potentially use the quarterback there. So there's all sorts of things that we can do in that situation. And anytime you come up short, you always think about putting your players in position to succeed. So frustrating to not gain yards on that first and second down calls, and then frustrated obviously to come away with an incompletion on third down. But we'll teach off of it. We'll learn from it.
And then I wanted to ask about David, because I mean, stats wise, this was his best game. I guess how important was he and the performance he had in terms of what Dylan was able to do?
Yeah, obviously we ask a lot of Dave in the run game, and certainly in the pass game as well. I thought he had some good moments out there in the run game, straining versus a very, very good Vikings defense, and then come up big in the red zone there in the middle of the field. I thought was a nice outing by Dave.
Hey Kevin, I have two questions. One, on those timeouts, did you think of consider not using them since the Vikings were down to one timeout and just forcing them to end up kicking a field goal as time was ticking off?
Yeah, obviously, Jeff, you think about all those things in those moments. Obviously it didn't work out for us how we wanted it to work out, both in the result of the game and, that drive itself. So you're always thinking about different ways you can do it, but we trust our guys to come through it. But we didn't come through as a football team. That's players, coaches, that's offense, defense, and special teams.
And then secondly, did Dylan Gabriel show you enough that maybe he can start throwing downfield more to Jerry Jeudy and the other wide receivers?
Yeah, it's always a product of the game you're in, Jeff, I would tell you. We have a lot of faith in Dylan and our pass receivers, whether that's from the wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, you name it. We have a lot of confidence in our guys. So it's just very dependent on the team you're facing and what they're doing in the back end.
Yeah, Kevin, a little bit on the wide receivers. I mean, going in, I think the very end of the game, you got a catch or two, but only 5 catches for the wide receivers. I mean, how can you get them going? It seemed to be a big difference. You got 10 catches out of your tight ends, but on, the difference in the game, you see the Vikings wide receivers making plays all over the place, and you're limited to 3 or 4 catches.
Yeah, I think it's so game specific, Fred, but we obviously believe in our guys, and we have to find a way to be more explosive and obviously stay on the football field so you can score those points. And our wide receiver room will factor into that. So it's every game is different, but we have total trust in those guys.
Hey, Kevin, on the last play of the game, besides Jamari breaking that tackle, what needs to happen there for you to get a shot at the end zone?
Well, yeah, like you said, trying to get the ball out of bounds, figuring you like your chances throwing the ball in the end zone from the 25 better than you do from the 50. Good play by them. Felt like we had a decent chance of executing there, but you got to say good play by them.
I mean, looking back, does it feel too risky that you don't get a ball thrown into the end zone there?
Yeah. Again, it's a risk reward in all these type of discussions and decisions that you're making, Scott, whether, you take that Hail Mary from the 50 or from the 25, you're taking a risk in what you do.
And is the plan to get Cam ready to start at left tackle next week?
Yeah, we'll work through all those type of things the next couple of days.
Yeah, Kevin, a question about Dylan and kind of his workload. How much did the circumstances of last week, only having 2 real practices and having to travel to London, how much did that dictate kind of what you could ask him to do? And will a full week of practice, will that mean that you can maybe put a little more on his plate this week?
I would say it's very game specific, Dan, in terms of the opponent and who you're facing and what they do and how they do it. Obviously, the week last week was unique. I thought that Dylan and the guys handled that fine. I don't think that had anything to do with the plan and those type of things. They were very prepared, but I think it's very specific to your opponent is probably the biggest thing.
Okay, I only got 2 left, so go through them real quick. In preseason, Gabriel was very good at converting third downs. Yesterday, you were 3 of 15. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think each one you can probably talk through, Tony, and it's a combination of things, but I thought by and large he was getting through progressions. There's things that I know he can do better that he knew when he was walking off the field. So he's got very good self-awareness in those type of things. But that was a very good pass defense that we were facing, both from a coverage and a pass rush standpoint. So I thought he did a good job of taking care of the football, moving in the pocket when he needed to. But bottom line is you have to try to find a way to stay on the field. And a lot of times it's your ability to be efficient on first and second down and put you in some manageable third downs that will allow that.
All right. And this last one falls into the category of who cares at this point. But was anyone on the sideline aware that the 51-yard field goal caromed off the cable?
I was not aware. I'm not sure if anybody else was. I was not aware.
I know you talked about the receivers as a whole, but just with Jerry specifically and these handful of drops he's had, including the one yesterday, like, is there anything that you're seeing with him, like technical there or anything? Is it just a weird stretch for him right now? Just with that part specifically.
Yeah, nothing technical. Actually, Jerry continues to be our best wide receiver. We have to find ways to get him involved in the game. Having said that, he's a leader on this team. He will do anything in his power to help this football team, and I'm excited about the future for Jerry and this offense. But obviously, I know he wants to do more, and we want him to do more.
Well, I actually took one of my questions, but I was also just going to ask, I know post-game you sort of talked about it with having Jerome in for that finals drive before the half for pretty much all those plays. Is that more so about just like experience where he's been in those situations more? Obviously, Quinshon's only played the 4 games to this point, and maybe trusting in pass protection a little bit as well?
Yeah, when you get into 2-minute drives and you're playing at the line of scrimmage, obviously we have a veteran in Jerome that we trust in the pass protection game and the run game, pass running routes, etc. Quinshon will continue to grow in those areas, and then you're also trying to be mindful of Q's workload and making sure that he's fresh, for all 60 minutes.
Any injuries coming out of the game, Kevin? And how do you think Jack held up in his first game back?
Yeah. Some guys banged up, but feeling good about, where they are to start the week out. And then I thought Jack held up real well, performed well in his first game back.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. From the podium, presented by Vivid Seats, purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Coming up next, we will look in the trenches. When you have the Hoff here, you want to lean on that expertise. How can we get it fixed up front? We will tackle that coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Now's your chance to be inches away from your favorite players. They take on some big opponents this season. Field seats at Huntington Bank Field put you up close and personal with the thrill of the game. Limited quantities are available, so get them soon before they're gone. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/field seats to secure your spot now. Time now for the Trench Report, presented by Big Fig, the mattress made for more, crafted in Cleveland, just like our Browns. All right, so right tackle Huff. Pretty good spot when Jack Conklin's there. Obviously, it's a slip-off when he doesn't. We've had the injury to Dewan. There's no putting that genie back in the bottle. What can we do with what we're doing at left tackle to be more successful than we are?
Well, I think that Cam Robinson has the most talent at that position. Being that this was his first week here, you were kind of easing him into it by rotating. But next week, he's going to have to just be out there full-time because he's your best option. He's not a Pro Bowl type guy, okay? But you're going to have to just get him out there and get him as many reps as he possibly can, try to get him up to speed as quickly as you can, and do everything you can to try to get him ready to be the guy because he's your best option.
Yes.
And unfortunately, tackle is one of those positions. It's not like you just find a guy in the street in the middle of the season. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, there's plenty of NFL teams that don't have a tackle that they love, but there's just not more than 64 of them in the NFL. It's just a position that there's a dearth of supply. And so, especially when you lose a guy like a DeWand who is doing a great job, like coming into his own and being a starter and a consistent starter, and then Jack being out a good bit already this season, like you're in a passel of hurt out at that tackle position. And if you can continue to get the run game going, I think that helps those guys because then hopefully you can start running more of those bootlegs and those play action passes, which takes the pressure off your tackles to just drop back and pass pro. And so for me, if I'm going, okay, what's the glass half full perspective on the rest of the season? You put Cam out there and then you say, we need to really start getting the run game going even further and just continue to rely on that more and then find the play action plays that look like those runs that we're having success with to get those shots down the field because we know our tackles can't hold up just consistently dropping back and throwing the ball. And that's not really what Dylan would be the best at anyway because he doesn't have the cannon to stand in the pocket at 7 yards and throw 60-yard bombs down the field.
Yes, and look, I started over 100 games, so you're going to put him right in there, and you're going to hope that it meshes up. I think that we've got here's the problem: is that offensively we got a lot of problems.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We've got to be if we are not the worst, we have got to be very close to the worst third down offense in the National Football League, and that makes it very difficult to be a team that can be productive consistently and have those long drives and have the ability to score more than 17 points, especially if you're not hitting chunk plays.
And if you're not hitting chunk plays, it's really hard to hit those intermediate throws to set up third and shorts.
Right.
Because the defense is creeping down towards the line of scrimmage. Your safeties aren't playing that deep. Your corners are playing more press coverage towards the line of scrimmage. And so without pushing the ball at all, it makes everything harder. And then you get stuck in third and longs, and then your third down efficiency looks terrible.
Yeah, and I would say we've done a very good job with the tight ends, but I think partially because of the tackle problem, they're involved in chipping quite a bit, so that delays their release and makes it harder for them to get down the field, which is why so many things are so underneath them. I will go back and I will say, glass half full stuff with Gabriel is his ability in the red zone. That ball to David Njoku on the second touchdown, he was even covered by Byron Murphy. He's a Pro Bowl cornerback.
Yeah.
That was a great ball. And it was it looked like his second or third read. He was looking left, comes back, boom, 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 and throws it in there. But we've got to find a way, to push it down there. Hopefully better tackle play will give the quarterback more comfort to, not necessarily have to feel like they have to speed up their process. And we can get some of those. But when we get them too, like Jerry Jeudy's got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
And I love Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy was so productive for us last year. Career high, 1,250 yards, Pro Bowler, all of it. But we need that guy. Jerry Jeudy for his career has been over 8 yards a target, like right there, kind of where Amari was for his whole career. This year, it is well below that, and that's got to come up. But we've got to find a way to be explosive, and it can't just be. It's so hard to rely on. Even when we had Nick here, it's so hard to rely on your running back to be the explosive piece of your offense. That's just a hard thing to count on week in and week out in the NFL.
No, I mean, when we had Nick, we had Jarvis, we had Odell for some of it, then we had Amari. I mean, like, you had weapons.
Yeah.
You had some weapons that people had to contend with. And we had an offensive line that was younger and in its prime and one of the best in the league. So all of those factors now have changed, and the reality is this goes back to the margin for error conversation offensively for us. Because of the way that we're built, we needed all of our guys to play at their apex. And so in addition to this, to not being explosive, all those things, we're not. We're playing under what our talent is at several positions.
Yeah.
I would almost argue on offense, rather than being so risk averse, since you're not really dinking and dunking and getting the ball down the field, I would rather be let's run the ball and then just throw bombs. Because you know what? We're only scoring 14 points with this version of our offense, so we might as well take some shots and hope that, we might throw a couple picks a game, but we're hoping that at least the ball's down the field, and we've got such a good defense, it's not going to hurt us that much to throw those interceptions, but at least we'll have an opportunity to make some big plays on offense, because it's really, really hard to go the long, hard, slow way down the field in the NFL because you don't have those consistent playmakers.
Yeah.
Because one drop kills the drive. One penalty kills a drive when you do it like that.
Goes back to your margin for error.
You're listening to 850 ESPN Cleveland, a good Karma brand station, WKNR. Go ahead, bud.
So there's another thing that I noticed in this game, and I'm curious, I wonder if it was kind of the coaching was whenever Gabriel threw it to the sideline, or maybe he felt like he was getting pressure and had to get rid of it, he was just kind of, he was throwing 5-10 yards out of bounds.
It was a throwaway, yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of throwaways. There was a play, I'm looking at one right now. We were at about their 34, and he has a decent pocket, but decides he's going to the outside. It's totally covered up. Judy runs basically into the corner, or Isaiah Bond runs into the corner, and he just chucks out of bounds. And they had a bust. It was a busty coverage right down the middle. David Njoku was wide open, and he just didn't see it and just kind of ends up airmailing it. And when you get those opportunities in the NFL, you really have to capitalize on them. And I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, I probably think if somebody was covering our receiver as well as Denzel Ward was covering Justin Jefferson on that play, like Dylan throws that into the stands.
Yeah.
And that ends up being a 21-yard gain, and
it's a great point.
Changing everything. And at some point, like, we're going to have to be – and we can't live, obviously, like when we were turning it over 2 or 3 times a game with Joe or even with Jameis in that run. But there's got to be a balance between the two. And at some point, if you're paying guys, over $10 million a year, you got to give them opportunities to make plays. The really only one time I thought we gave somebody an opportunity to make play was the one in Njoku, and he went up and he made the play.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you just let me ask you this off as a quick aside. Do you watch just left tackles sometimes? Like from when you watch a game for fun, how do you watch it?
Yeah, if I'm not specifically focusing on thinking about watching the whole thing, my eyes just always go to that position. Yeah, right. It's like, if your son is playing running back, like you're just watching the running back position because you're so trained to just focus your eye on that position. But obviously from calling games after I retired, like I'm starting to watch the bigger picture more, and it's becoming more natural to just watch safeties and kind of watch the perimeter and the structure of what's going on. But yeah, if I'm just at home kind of casually watching, my eyes always go to that position.
Is there a young guy, I'm putting you on the spot here, but is there a young guy that or even a vet that you're like, that's how you do it?
Yeah, there's quite a few good young tackles that I really enjoy. Jordan Mailata, he's not a young tackle, but he's a guy for the Eagles that I think is one of the best tackles in the NFL, and a guy that played rugby, no football experience, went to the IPP program straight from New Zealand, and then he was just a massive rugby player that they turned into a left tackle. And it's fun to watch him because he's got really good technique. He was able to learn that very quickly, even though he had no background whatsoever like that going into when he started training in Florida with International Player Pathway. So I do like him a lot. At the break, I'll give you a list. Because the names are
I put
always
you on the spot, but I just the kid with the Patriots is getting a lot of heat right now. The Campbell kid, because people were kind of going that it was a little bit of a slow start for him. He played really well last night.
Penei Sewell,
Penei Sewell's amazing right tackle there for you.
Yeah, so it's just was curious because obviously we're trying to find answers for it, and when Jack's there, we have him, and when he's not, we don't.
All right, Hoff, I want to ask you this too. On their touchdown play, have you seen the video of their touchdown play at the end? Unfortunately,
the last
game
one?
Yeah. Did that left tackle go early, or was that a Hoff?
Ooh, I didn't see that one yet.
Come on over.
All right, I'll watch it.
He's going to watch it in the break.
So Coach, let's watch it in break. But Coach basically acknowledged it in the press conference today and was like, I think he did, but I can't. It's passed.
I'll be honest with you, though. Isn't the pass to Addison on first down? The touchdown? Was it on first or second down? It
is
wasn't third.
First and 10 at the 17.
That's the touchdown that wins it,
Or
right?
So that's what it's saying, but they're not at the 17. The scoreboard there was wrong about everything. I didn't get his first down at like the 12.
It was a rough day for.
Okay,
for
so
Watt.
up the way that it was going, whether he moved early or whether Denzel did the right thing, they were scoring. They were either going to get 3 or 7.
Yeah.
At that point, so the mistakes were before that. Is kind of my view of that. But all right, we'll get the answer to all of that on the other side of this quick timeout. Before we do that, though, add more fun to your fan with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today and get 50 back in bonus bets. You place your first wager of 10 or more Ballybets, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Will go around the league. My goodness, was there a lot going on around the National Football League on this fine Sunday. We'll get to all of that coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, head to Myers, scan the Hillshire Farms QR code in the meat department until November 11th for a chance to win a suite for 10 to the Steelers game on December 28th. Time to go around the league. A little Overreaction Monday around the league. Hello, Gibby.
Hi.
How are you,
I didn't know if
Gibby?
you were doing this or if I was doing this.
No, I
I'm
like it
fine.
when you do it. I like you doing it.
So
Gibby.
I just keep going back, and I told you this earlier. Like, if you factor in, if it's just all East Coast time, take the London out of it. We wrapped up a game at 12:40 p.m. yesterday afternoon, Eastern time.
Yep.
Wheels down in Cleveland at 1:15 a.m.
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, that's 13 hours later.
Yeah.
And you're on the ground.
It's wild.
It's been a whirlwind.
It is.
And it's gonna be a regular thing.
Yeah.
Especially once this new CBA gets in. It'll be 18 games, like Siciliano said on the pregame yesterday, and it's going to be every team's going to play one game overseas every year somewhere.
Yeah, and I know we have it scheduled coming up at 4:25 or thereabouts, 4:30 maybe, but I am curious. You guys were all there, and I just do have some questions about, like, how's this all going? Like, that type of thing. Like, we've been doing it for a long time over there.
Yeah.
So we can get in that in a minute, but it's good to have you all back.
It is good to be back, no question. Let's do a little overreaction or not. And we'll kick things off with the Patriots can win the AFC East. Is that an overreaction this afternoon or not? Joe Thomas, you are our guest. You are up first.
I think it's still an overreaction because I still think the Bills are going to be the favorite, and I don't think Josh Allen is going to allow the Patriots to win because I like Drake May. I like everything that Vrabel's doing in New England. I just don't think they have enough talent to consistently keep that level of play going to win that division when you've got Josh Allen there, right? It's an overreaction when you win one game. Yes, they were great. Nobody expected it to happen, yada, yada, yada. But this is still Josh Allen's division.
Bo Bishop.
Yeah, I'm with the Hop. I think it's an overreaction for now. In 2 years,
You two were pretty high on him going into this game, Drake May.
I liked him a lot. I like him a lot. And I just like what Vrabes is doing over there. Like, he's just a one-man culture tornado. He comes into a situation, it flips
in a big way.
In a big way, and the kid is good. The kid can play, and now that, like, their offensive line is in a nice spot. So Diggs, they're getting a lot out of Diggs. Everybody thought he was cooked. So, like,
why do you think they're not using Travion? Remember how upset everybody was that we drafted Quinshon Judkins?
I would think trust
and not Travion.
Maybe just trust, which is crazy because he had such. I don't know.
I've read a lot that's his pass pro, which everybody said that was
he was
his
elite
best thing.
at pass. Yeah. He was better than Quinshon at pass pro at Ohio State. So
Quinshon's a stud.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I don't. Is it an overreaction? Yes, I think it is an overreaction. But do I think New England is a legitimate playoff contender? Yes, I do. I think that they are a playoff. Drake May is awesome.
He's great.
He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, overreaction or not, the AFC North is Pittsburgh to win or to lose. Bo Bishop.
No. Fact.
They gained a game yesterday and didn't play.
Baltimore's injury report yesterday is maybe the most talented injury report I've ever seen in the history of football. Who didn't play yet, and they got bombed. You were dead on. I thought, God, Baltimore Magic, not bombed in every way.
Bombed.
Cincinnati might not win
again
for a month. I mean, they are incompetent. And
they actually scored.
Why don't they trade for Jameis? At least it would be fun. Yeah, but they scored late. It was a blowout.
28-3 though, going into the fourth.
Yeah, it was a blowout.
Tarf.
There he is.
So no,
always got his
yeah, it's Pittsburgh's. And I think they're going to be the only team out of this division in the postseason.
I got news for you.
Which is crazy. I thought that we thought maybe for sure there'd be two at the beginning. Before the Burrow injury, we thought maybe three.
Yep.
As Pittsburgh being the third. Yeah. I mean, a month in, they're going to win the division. They're going to be the only one in the postseason because I don't think Baltimore's digging out of this.
Z?
Baltimore could still come back. Here's the problem. We had an opportunity to go to London and completely turn this season around. And I know you'd say, a win just gets us to 2-3. Yeah, it does. The Steelers have been outgained in every game they've played. The Steelers are not good. That's not a good football team. We had an opportunity to go there, beat them, get to 3-3. They'd be 4-2. All of a sudden, or they'd be 3-2 because they've had a bye. you're right there with a head-to-head win, and then all of a sudden it's game on. And that's the thing that is like, you want to talk about maddening. If you're a Browns fan, it's maddening that you have Baltimore completely falling apart. You've got Cincinnati completely falling apart. The Steelers are smoke and mirrorsing their way to wins, and this is the year. This is the year to go win the division. We have the best defense in the league.
Yep.
And we're 1-4.
Yeah.
Hoff.
Yeah, I mean, who else is going to stand in their way?
I still think the Ravens can come back. They have a pretty easy schedule.
How long is Lamar going to be out? Have they said
one more
game,
and then they have a bye, and then they should be
pretty
healthy. They should be 1-5, and they'd be pretty healthy.
Report. Did
you look at this?
Oh yeah, you got Kyle Hamilton, Roquan.
Basically, all their good players are injured.
Yeah, Marlon, Lamar, and then
who do they play this week?
By the way,
Smith,
that doesn't even include Matabike, who's a
Pro
Bowler and who's out for the year.
Who's done? No, it's their whole everybody.
Well, that's why they got smoked, dude. Davis Mills was logging action in this game.
It's crazy. Like, how big of a hole who do they play this week?
They have the Rams.
Oh, yeah, God. So they're 1-5.
They're at home, but
they're 1-5. So they're going to have to come back, and they're going to have to go 9-2 over the final 11.
And I still think they have some marquee matchups in there because there's some Sunday night games that they have to
play. They play Buffalo still.
They do. Yeah.
Did they play Buffalo?
Oh, no, they played Buffalo week one. I'm sorry.
You're talking about
Cincinnati
did, yeah.
Cincinnati.
No, there's a stretch.
They've got Steelers. To finish the season, it's Patriots, Packers, Steelers. And then before that, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Jets, Browns, Vikings, Dolphins. So there's some winnable games in there, but then those final
they're going to get hot in the second half.
Be tough.
They're going to get hot in the second half. They're going to be in
a big hole, though.
A huge hole. But they're going to be playing. It's going to be kind of like Cincinnati a year ago. Can they do enough?
Yeah.
Next up, speaking of the Ratbirds, Father Time has finally caught up to Derrick Henry. Overreaction or not, Nathan Zagura?
No, it is not overreaction. It is true. I mean, I think it's a combination of that. I think it's a combination of no Lamar, obviously, this week, and then I think those two fumbles like psychologically rocked him because that's the other thing. They could easily have 3 wins.
Yeah.
He's got 2 late game fumbles that were massive, and I think it's changing how he's running the ball a little bit. He looked plenty good the first week.
I don't think it's an overreaction. He's at the point in his career where he needs a full complement of offense around him to have the success. He's not making guys miss and making his own hole. He's not bringing his own blocker anymore. So when you have Lamar and you got those other weapons there that open up those holes, like he's still a difficult guy to bring down because he's still fast, he's still big, he can still break some tackles, but he's not the type of guy that can do it by himself anymore.
Bishop.
That's exactly what Hoff said. Print it. No notes.
Got it. Next up, the Colts are the best team in the AFC South. Overreaction or not, Bo Bishop?
Not. They
are.
I'm curious to see what Jacksonville does tonight because I do think Liam Cohen's done a really nice job down there, taking advantage of their weapons. You just look at like Etienne. That was a guy that was scrap heaped, and he's found something with him. They're not on Indy's
level.
They're
on fraudster watch. This is either
that's why I said
it's
a big one tonight.
100%.
It's a very big one
100%.
tonight for them to see how they play, in that moment. But no, Indy's a little bit of last year's Vikings to me, and I know there's the parallels with Darnold and Jones, but maybe that's justified. I think they're very real.
Hoff?
I agree. Print it.
Nathan Zagura.
Yeah, 100%. Daniel Jones. All the people we spent a lot of time talking about Daniel Jones on this show because that was somebody the Browns were very interested in, and they got priced out of that market, and he's now playing tremendous football. They've got a great defense, an elite defense.
Yep.
They are a good football team, and it's amazing how many times this has happened now, but in this case it wasn't from showboating, but they're a guy just kind of dropping the football, going in the end zone away from being undefeated and having beaten the Rams they got some good wins.
They do.
They're good. By the way, and equally as the Raiders are trash.
They're really bad.
That has gone steadily downhill since week 1.
One of my fantasy games were featured a cup. I had Genty in that game. I had Danny Dimes. Where the games were so bad. Houston was another one where I had I had Woody Marks on the Texans. The games were so bad that they stopped playing the stars on both sides. Like they didn't even leave Genty in the Raiders game.
No,
they're like, we're not getting you hurt. He's out. Then on the other side, Danny Dimes is Richardson's in like the third quarter. I mean, it was just their beatings.
Final one, Hoff. The New York Jets are the worst team in the NFL. It's not even close.
I think that is. Sorry, not my.
No, I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL. I think actually they're a lot better than their 0-5 record will say that they are. They're in the bottom part, but I think the Las Vegas Raiders, in my opinion, when you watch them, just watching them, they're a team that continues to seemingly get worse each week. And I like the Jets. I think they got some scrappiness to them. I think they're going to be a team that they're not going to win a lot of games, but they're going to win a few of these close ones down the stretch, and they're a tough out.
The Jets are an anomaly right now. They have no takeaways in the first 5 games. They have been in the top half of the league, both in offensive and defensive EPA per play, and they are not winning football games. Yeah, they would smoke Tennessee, Vegas, Saints, I think the Giants. I think there are plenty of teams that they would do just
How
fine
did the
against.
Tennessee Titans?
Okay.
Parker's birthday's
asked the
tomorrow,
girl
so
this
I
at
went and
1
played
a.m.
golf
when we
with the
landed.
boys, so I didn't watch.
Okay.
So when I left, Arizona was winning, and I'm like, all right, let's go play golf. Like, let's enjoy ourselves.
All right.
So I didn't see any of it.
Okay. You haven't seen clips?
No, nothing.
You have not seen clips?
No, I do college football in the mornings.
He's
buddy.
incredulous.
I am incredulous because these are some of the craziest things I've ever seen.
How did it happen?
All right, so Arizona is up 21-6.
Yes.
Arizona's up 21-6 at the beginning of the fourth quarter and they're on their own 28. Amari DiMercato, running back for Arizona, busts through a hole 72 yards to the house.
Mm-hmm.
He does as he's going in, flips the ball.
Oh,
now,
God, why do they do that?
Now, I'm 99.9% convinced the ball was still in his possession when the nose of the ball broke the line, and then he flipped it. But on replay, they overturned it. So now that touchdown, which would have made it 28-6 with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, now that becomes a touchback. Tennessee gets the ball. They go down the field, and they score, and they make it 21-12. Tennessee then, they get the ball back from, they get like a 3-and-out basically, gets the ball back. They go down. Cam Ward, they're on the Arizona 20. They are down 21-12 when this play begins. Cam Ward throws the ball, intended to Calvin Ridley. It is intercepted by a guy on the Cardinals.
Okay. Game over.
Guy on the Cardinals kind of falls to the ground with the ball as he's starting to run back. As he falls, the ball pops out into the air. On the ground, another Arizona guy then has it and scoops it and is starting to pick up and turn around, and then he somehow fumbles it. It ends up being fumbled into the end zone where Tennessee recovers it for a touchdown. So an Arizona interception
turned into 6?
Turned into a touchdown, yes.
Oh, God.
This is the full play-by-play. It's amazing. Pass short left, intended for Calvin Ridley, intercepted by Darian Taylor, blah, 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 return for no gain. He fumbles, recovered by Cardinal, blah, 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 fumbles, recovered by Tyler Lockett in the end zone, touchdown. So they score there. Now it's 21-19. They try to go. Arizona does nothing. Cam Ward gets the ball back on his own 18 and leads them down. There was a beautiful pass to Calvin Ridley, 38 yards, and they kick a field goal and they win the game. There was also another play in this game where where Arizona was into, this must have happened earlier. They were into Tennessee territory, and the center snapped the ball before anybody was looking and snapped it off of his face mask, and it gets fumbled and
Yelda Froholt.
Our guy.
And they recovered it.
Put some stank on it.
So, I mean, just completely insane. Like some completely insane things happened.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
We'll
crazy
get to more of
Sunday.
it tomorrow, but I wanted to touch on some of the
so
big ones.
this was in the
Good job,
third
Eddie.
quarter. They're at the Tennessee 20, and he snaps it right off of his helmet. It almost knocks Kyler over. Nobody on the line had moved other than the center. The other guys are just kind of standing up looking.
What
so
is
it was
happening?
A
That's a bad
jailbreak.
feeling.
They
Real bad
recovered.
feeling.
So I mean, it was a comedy of errors. When you have an interception that becomes a touchdown for the other team, that is
Well, we said when
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
no, yeah,
I can't
don't
think of
know.
a time that's ever happened.
Well, we said like when we picked it, we're like, the amount of things that would have to go wrong for Arizona to lose this, or for them to even be in the mix of the scores being in danger.
So
Wide array.
Have you guys seen the clip of Gannon, the head coach of
Yeah, I
Arizona?
have, yeah.
Okay. Which I feel like something's going to come out of that. He
Do
kind
you
of
know what he's talking about?
No,
Have you
I
seen
didn't
this?
see it.
So after the guy who does the flip,
DeMarcado got an offensive lineman's got his arm around him, and he's very clearly distraught about what's happened.
just hold the ball into the end zone and spike it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the big deal? Why
I've
is
never
that so
understood
cool to
that.
just flip the ball out?
I've never
Just
understood
run, Bo Jackson, run through it.
Go
Yeah.
right in the tunnel. So Gannon's giving him the business, and then as he walks away, it looks like you can't tell. I don't know if there's a definitive angle, but it certainly looks like he throws him a little cross into the chest as he walks off.
Yeah, that did happen. So that ain't great. OBM, the preferred provider.
Somewhere, Bob Knight, Robert, the General Montgomery Knight is smiling.
Pride of Orville. The preferred provider of copiers and document services for your Cleveland Browns. Tackle any size office at 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. All of you guys were in London. I'm curious how it went. We'll get into that coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, this month's winner of the local business platform presented by Minuteman in association with Medical Mutual is Envision Design Group, locally owned in Menor. Envision Design Group is dedicated to crafting authentic, innovative, and affordable brand solutions. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/community/local business platform. You guys were all over there. You've been over there several times. Hoff, you did the double, right? You did Oktoberfest and
I did, yes. A couple days at Oktoberfest, and then on Wednesday flew up to London there to meet the boys and do the London celebration.
Oh, we had a
it was
good time.
great. Yeah. Me and Z had outstanding meal.
We had an unbelievable
Literally,
meal.
they ate
really
half a
good.
cow, I feel.
It was the
down in
biggest
London.
ribeye, bone-in ribeye I've ever seen. It's called brat.
Yeah, brat in London.
East London.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Couldn't
it was
tell
me,
you
him,
too
and
much more.
Siciliano's, and it turns out we went to the wrong one at like 9:30 ish, and we had to wait, but they got to say, well,
They were very gracious.
very
about
gracious
it.
about it. They were cool, and we put on a pretty good show.
It was a cool little like upstairs restaurant that had open fire in the corner with grates that had various levels.
Yeah,
and so they would cook, like they gave us a big thing of grilled bread, which was amazing.
that
Like this
butter.
beautiful piece of bread that they just kind of lightly
Yeah,
grilled on
this
either
thick.
side with some
This
whipped
thick.
butter and like I
Some
don't know
black
if they,
salt.
Yeah, they like the black sea salt, the volcanic salt or whatever that is. With that whipped butter was amazing. I think that they grilled some garlic and like rubbed it on that bread.
Oh,
And
yes.
so it was like creamy and soft in the middle. It was like 2 inches thick.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
We
It was-
saw
that
him
was
making
really
it,
good,
and I was
yeah.
talking to the ladies. I was like, which one is that? We got
We're
to
gonna
order
need
that.
some of that.
So I had one of the best things I'm going to say one of the best things I've ever eaten. There are actually two things there that were two of the better bites that I've ever had because they're just so different than anything I've ever had. And the steak was phenomenal. I mean,
I was telling them because they don't really know like the size of a steak and how big the animal was that
Yeah,
it
well,
came
not
out.
like you do.
It had to be like a 2,200 pound steer because the ribeye, I'm not kidding you, it looked like a manhole cover. It was like,
no, it was what,
like
4 pounds it looked
yeah,
like?
Hall of Fame beef we slaughter at 1,500 pounds, and your ribeye is maybe 12 inches, across. This thing was like almost twice that. It was so massive, and the bone that it came on, it looked like a Fred Flintstone bone. I mean, it looked like a dinosaur. It was enormous. But then they cooked it on that open coal, and it was kind of one of these slow processes where they put it right on the fire right away to get like a hard sear, and then they put it up above the fire, maybe 1.5 feet to kind of let it slowly render, and then they put it back down there. So it got this amazing like dark crust on the outside, and a fat rendered really, really well. It was an amazing, amazing steak, and it was made for like sharing for a group.
It
'Cause it was like
was
2 inches thick,
That was a big
but it was really buttery. It was
Like,
wonderful.
I had all I could eat. He had all he could eat. I mean, maybe we had some in the reserve if we needed to.
Yeah.
if we had to, we could have eaten more, but we didn't want it.
We didn't
Put it
know.
past you
It
guys
was,
to
but
be
I remember
full.
watching them. I go, if that's what they're bringing us, this is the biggest steak I've ever seen
Brontosaurus.
in my life. It was awesome.
What type
But
of
so
breed of cow produces that? I'm wondering.
I don't know, like a Chianina. It was like a massive Chianina that they just kept feeding for like
feeding
3
forever.
or 4 years.
Yeah.
They just kept feeding them.
So we had one of the apps we had, and was one of the best bites I've ever had, was pigeon. It was a pigeon.
I didn't see that coming.
A pigeon skewer, and the skewer had a piece of guanciale on it that was razor thin, almost like a prosciutto,
Okay.
like a prosciutto. And so that was done, I think, on this flame. And so the guanciale was almost melted. When I looked at it, it almost looked like, I'll tell you in the break what it actually looked like. But it was, I didn't know quite what I was looking at. And then I realized that was the guanciale had almost melted into the meat, and then it had this balsamic and kind of rosemary.
yeah,
like
that balsamic
it
reduction was great.
It was unbelievable. And then they had a thing that was on like that, some of the grilled bread, but a smaller piece, and it had smoked mussels on it with some kind of like, it was a yellowy orangey sauce. I don't know even know what it was. That was like out of this world.
It's probably mayonnaise, but Z didn't know.
I didn't know.
It was a mayonnaise
Didn't care.
based sauce.
Did not care at that moment.
Crema. You were fine with it in that.
I know if it was mayo, I think Siciliano would have been fully out on it. I would have detected between the two of us. We would have detected.
That was a special bite though, because after living in
was.
Europe for a year, I realized like how much they eat pigeon over there. They call it squab, but it's a very big delicacy over there. But it is dry, as you'd expect, like a small chicken to be. But that's why they put that guanciale over on the top, and they just let that fat like melt over the top, and it was an elite bite. It was great.
How It's sell out. Like the crowd looked great. They were into it. It looks
Stadium.
like it's fun.
Stadium.
Great stadium.
Awesome.
That's
Elite.
a great stadium.
Yeah, that's brand new.
You can take the locker room facilities and just put them in our new dome.
Put it in Brook
please.
Park.
Oh, they're
And
that-
I'm
yeah.
Oh, they were
totally
great.
good. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
The green room was beautiful. They had like a little VIP area right next to our green room, so I snuck in and ate some food there at halftime and after the game. Yeah, they did it. They did it up right. It's a beautiful area.
Does it feel like when the NFL is there? Does it feel like that's all in? Is that take over London, or are they still like? What's the bigger thing? Is it the Premier League results on
It's probably
Saturday?
Chelsea Liverpool on Saturday.
That's what I was.
I would think
was
so.
Curious, like where it all fits in.
It's hard to know because we were staying. Our group was staying near like Mayfair, which is one of the like swanky downtown areas. And everywhere you went, you saw people with
NFL,
Browns gear or Vikings gear, like standing outside the pub and eating and drinking. So it's hard to know if that's just where all the fans were hanging out or if that's what the whole city felt like.
Yeah. It was. What's wild is though, even in like at Tottenham Hotspur, the stadium, it's just a neighborhood. Like
That was bizarre.
it is in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like there you can see
It had a
almost
very
some apartments
collegiate feel.
Yeah,
It almost felt like
apartments.
Camp Randall.
Yeah.
Because literally you walk out of the stadium and right across the street is just like little
Stores and
apartments and,
pubs and
stores and
apartments.
pubs.
Yeah.
So that was a cool feel. But getting in there, my driver didn't know exactly where to like take me. And I was assuming they'd take you like, underneath
Yeah,
into
there is
like the
no-
loading dock. There's none of that. They like dropped me off in the street and
Yeah.
I'm like carrying my bag.
They dropped the team off in the
through
street.
the
We
fans.
walked
and-
in.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how that stadium was built or if there was a stadium there that, was just kind of shoehorned in the town. But
And it's
I imagine the tailgating feel had to be kind of cool
Yeah,
to be
right?
tailgating right there and then in that little town and just walk
yeah.
across the street into the stadium.
So our booth was on the side that if we were on the 9th floor, where if you looked out the windows, you could see down to the London skyline, which was actually really, really cool to see that. And yeah, right behind it was just a street with pubs and stores and apartments and some that didn't even look like they were particularly nice, like high-rise old brick
no, it wasn't
apartments,
like a fancy. It was definitely
no,
like
not
a blue
fancy
collar
area. So they built this obviously with the NFL in mind. 62,000, I think 835, if I have that number right, but in that ballpark. It's beautiful. Their stadiums are also very different than a lot of kind of what I would call our modern stadiums, which are closer to the field and kind of up. This is kind of very like a low bowl, and on the sidelines in particular, they are not close to the field.
No.
At all.
They keep long ways. Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty far from the field.
What did the players think of the turf? Because the
They liked
NFL
it,
had
so it's
made
fast.
Yeah, the NFL had made a big deal how they made the turf specifically for football, since a lot of the other turfs over in London are more for soccer, and even when they were in Munich, guys had a lot of problems with slipping because the grass fields, especially for soccer, they want the ball to kind of slide, and they don't have the great grip that you need for big 300-pound men to slam into each other.
So it looked
Hold on.
shorter to me.
That was field turf?
Yeah.
Or was
It almost
wasn't
turf.
grass, right? It was
No,
turf.
turf.
It was
But
turf.
when they play on grass.
So
Yes,
the turf
correct.
sits on the grass.
Yes.
So Tottenham plays on grass, but then
It's
that's too
underneath
slippery?
that field turf.
Man, what
Yeah,
you're
they
capable
brought
of.
it. They rolled it out actually Wednesday, because when we got there Thursday morning, like our grounds crew people weren't at our training facility at the hotel yet because they were finishing up unrolling basically.
So, and it was like, it seemed to me to be shorter blades of grass than ours, and there were all these green pebbles. And they said actually, if you really planted into it, you could get into the grass. Like you could.
Oh, it would go.
It could get into the grass. Yeah, that's what Tarv was.
It
telling me.
almost reminded me of a blend between field turf and the old AstroTurf. It was that short of a artificial surface. So I imagine the skill guys felt like it was really fast. And they liked it, but as a lineman, they probably didn't like that because it's a lot more wear and tear on your lower joints because it's just such a hard surface to play on.
They say what this is again is from our boy Tarv, but that it's fast if you're light, and if not, though, it has good grip because you actually can get down, as he said, into the grass layer. Like it's that.
Yeah,
it was
that's incredible.
interesting, and it was all instead of our turf here has those black little
pellets.
beads. Yeah, these were all like green, and there were so many more of them. It was almost like a million of them.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Listen, I'm not fast, but it felt like a fast turf to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked it. I mean, it looked great.
Beautiful. Stadium's beautiful.
stadium's beautiful.
Beautiful. I would say from where we were, I didn't love the video boards, so there's like 4 in the corners.
yeah, you couldn't
See them because there's all the stanchions that hold all the lights that are actually inside the stadium, not on the top like shining in. They're actually hanging into the stadium and the speakers. So that part of it wasn't good, but everything was just Nice. And the one thing I didn't realize is every door, like you can't walk anywhere. Like if we were there right now to walk through our hall here, there'd be a door on both sides. There's doors everywhere, and it says fire door must remain closed. Like at the hotel.
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere. Restaurants, anything. There's just doors everywhere.
Huh.
Some of them pull in, some of them you push.
But there's always doors.
That was not great trying to deal with
right.
equipment moving.
Single word answer from all of you. In our lifetime, will we see an NFL team in Europe?
No.
There you go.
I do think that
Not when we can
Siciliano's
go
right,
over
though.
there.
The 18-game schedule will have 32 international games. Everybody will play
Yep.
one international game, and you'll have 2 bye weeks. It'll be a 20-week season.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Coming up next, our great clips. It's going to be great call of the game. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case for you. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Great clips. It's going to be great. Time for the call of the game. Here is Andrew and Z.
3rd and goal from the 9. Ford the back. Shotgun. Bond alone to the wide side right. Fannin motions to the left. Here's the snap. Over the middle. The Chief has a touchdown. Dylan Gabriel to David Njoku. And the Browns retake the lead.
First touchdown of the season for the Chief, the 31st of his career, and for Dylan Gabriel, his first start, his first multiple touchdown game, 3 on the season. Now leads the Browns in passing touchdowns. The pocket poised to go through your progressions. He gets a little inside release. Chief beats Byron Murphy. If you are on the other side, you got your Pro Bowl corner on their tight end. Well, it's Pro Bowl on Pro Bowl, and Njoku into the end zone, and the Browns are celebrating.
Yeah, it really is a shame that you don't get the finish to this, because this is the way that they built this thing to win, is this way, and the kid played pretty well.
That's why it's disheartening that you didn't win.
It is.
Like,
it sucks.
Yeah.
Because he played pretty well.
He did, and he's got good poise. Of course, and it would be coming out of when you say, okay, he managed it. He did exactly what they asked. We want to see him get the ball down the field more, but that's something that'll come in the coming weeks, and maybe a little more freedom to recognize some things that the defense are doing, or to be able to have that audible, or to be able to check and get yourself into the right play. But yeah, he did great, and in the red zone, that's where it's tough. And that play for him to go boom, 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 come back to Njoku and throw it on a rope and get it right to where it needed to be was very impressive. Very impressive. Dylan Gabriel was not the reason that the Browns lost. Far from it.
No. He played very, very well. All right, what do we got? We got a score, Gibby?
We do. The Kansas City Chiefs are in the armpit of America to battle the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags.
Where's that come from, your hatred of Jacksonville?
A
lot of preseason games.
Trash.
Hanging out there in the preseason.
Downtown Jacksonville's tough. Now,
not
when
the
we
best.
went last time, we stayed at Sawgrass.
Oh, you got Jack's Beach.
That was quite
Then
nice.
you're all right.
Yeah, that was quite
Yeah, it was great. We got there, and it immediately started raining nonstop until the game ended. Got on the plane, sun came back out. Perfect.
This one's down there.
Hey, we won that
in
game.
Jacksonville.
Gibby.
Yeah.
Should have had a victory Friday.
You're not wrong.
Not that one.
Maybe we'll take 2 years together.
Yeah, fine. Right, yeah.
I don't
Can we
know.
do that?
Yeah.
2 years?
A win's a win. Jags hosting the Kansas City Chiefs in Monday Night Football to round out Week 5 in the National Football League. Zagura.
Yeah, I do like the Jags, but I also think they're a little bit of fraudsters, and I think Kansas City is going to go out there and Monday night another statement. Last time they were in this position, which was a week ago, they made a very definitive statement. I think they do that again. I like the Chiefs bigly, 31-13.
Oh,
yeah. I'm 6-7 on the week, so I need this one. I'm pretty sure I'm 6-7, so I need it to get back to even Steven. So when you're in desperate times, bet on Wizards. So I'll take 1-5 in Kansas City handling their business relatively bigly. Hoff?
well, I'm going to push in the other direction. I got
baby.
Jaguars 24, Chiefs 20. I think
Outright
Jaguars
win.
defense. Yes, I think they're going to get a few turnovers.
That's what they've been doing. Leading the league.
Yeah, they're going to force a few turnovers. The Chiefs, they're a little bit shorthanded, and I think they're going to have a hard time keeping pace with the Jaguars. So don't be afraid to remind me tomorrow morning who was right here if the Jaguars
we'll give you
defeat it.
a foolish.
You can
full
join us
shout-out.
tomorrow at 3 if you want to discuss.
sounds great.
By the way, quick footnote, I did meet Big G-Man, Papa G-Man,
Oh, really?
Friday night.
Wadsworth?
Hudson. We can discuss tomorrow. Yeah, we had a very big meeting of the minds there. Hoff, great to see you in person.
Great to see you guys.
As always. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland.